I can hear you now. You're like, Saint, I've already beat Sekiro. I don't need this. I used firecrackers, and I used Ichimonji, and I cheesed all the bosses, and I beat the game. Did you beat the game? Well, I mean, is chopping off your own penis and shoving it inside your anus losing your virginity? Technically, but there's gotta be a better way. Let's come talk to this guy who looks like he's a potato with a hat on, and let's buy this shield from him. I also recommend that you get Anti-Air Death Blow. Anti-Air Death Blow is a beast against some enemies, especially the Shishiman warriors. If you've got your sword buffed, Anti-Air Death Blow, just you can one-shot them. Literally one-shot them. It's hilarious. It also works on the monks with the split-leaf greatsword in Senpo Temple. As far as your abilities go, at this point, I would be working towards getting Breath of Life, which gives you health back after you do a death blow. That one's pretty nice. We can come over here. We can get Ichimonji because we want the carp abilities that come after Ichimonji. Those carp abilities are awesome. There's Breath of Life over here. Ichimonji is going to give us these carp abilities that allow us to do more posture damage to people. So that's something we can be working on. Descending carp and ascending carp. These are both pretty good, and I recommend. But do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. You do you. Now, let's fight Genichiro. Genichiro is only dangerous when you're not on his nuts. When you're on his nuts, he'll jump at you. He'll take a few steps backwards. He might go for a thrust attack. That's it. If you give him space, he will use it to shoot his bow. Now here's where I'm using Mist Raven to avoid his projectile spam that he does. This attack right here, as long as you parry this last hit, it does pretty decent posture damage to him. And if he's got his shirt on, that's the end of it. But when Genichiro takes his shirt off, that attack gets a little different. We're just going to bully this dude. We're just going to stay in his face and just keep pressing R1 until he makes a stop, and then we respond in kind. If he jumps, we get ready for that. If he does the arrows, we're going to use Mist Raven. If he does the thrust attack, we get ready to Mikiri counter it. That's pretty much it for Genichiro. He's not bringing a whole lot to the table. This attack right here, if you can parry all of it, it does a shit ton of posture damage to him. I think it's the last hit that does the big posture damage. But if you mess it up, he's going to hurt you really bad. So don't mess it up. Let's put it all together and see what it looks like. Now, in his second form, when he takes his shirt off, the lightning arrow, don't even worry about it. It never hits anything. It's terrible. He's not going to do anything you haven't already seen him do except for lightning attacks. We're not going to mess with that lightning arrow. When he goes for the lightning sword, then yeah, we'll lightning reversal that. But everything else, we're just going to leave it alone. In this phase, when he doesn't have his shirt on, if you parry this attack, he will follow it up with a thrust, which means Mikiri counter. So you can do all kinds of posture damage to this guy. The sword lightning attack, that's the one you want to do the lightning reversal on. That one's easy to do. The arrow is worthless. Don't worry about doing lightning reversal on the arrow because it's hard to get hit by the arrow. The arrow sucks. But anyway, like I said, let's put it all together. Let's do it all in one big go. Again, I have the Demon Bell active, and I don't have Kuro's Charm, which means I take chip damage every time I don't do a perfect deflection. As long as I do a perfect deflection, I can never be posture broken. So, staying in his face and pressing R1, just like I told you we were going to do. It's pretty simple. Just bully the absolute hell out of this guy. I used Mist Raven to get out of the arrows. You don't have to do that. You can block it if you don't have... If you have Kuro's Charm, you can just block that. Or you can try and parry it, or you can try and dodge out of the way of it. But Mist Raven just looks cool. Every attack that Genichiro has that forces you to stop pressing R1 has a huge wind-up. So even if he gets away from you, you don't have to stop pressing R1 unless you recognize it as one of the attacks that means you have to respond to him. The only attacks he has that means you have to respond to him are the jump attack, the arrows, and the thrust. Everything else he won't really do if you're just bullying the crap out of him. There's one attack you'll need to parry, right? That one. the jump attack, he has that. The back up and thrust, he has that. But you see him trying to pull out his bow? That bow sucks. It's dangerous. But it can't do anything to you if you're right on top of him. You can attack him before he gets the bow shot out, which is why bullying works so well on this dude. The jump attack, if you block it, he can follow it up with the thrust, he can follow it up with the sweep, and he can follow it up with his combo. In my opinion, it's not worth blocking the jump attack because you don't know what he's going to do out of it. When the second phase starts, you can always heal and then get a Makiri counter. Every time. There's always time to heal and then get the Makiri counter. Every time. Remember, just because you got hit doesn't mean you need to be thinking about healing. In Sekiro, if you get hit, just keep fighting. Fight through it. Don't worry about it. The sword attack is the only lightning attack that we're going to work on doing a lightning reversal. It's not worth going for the arrow. The arrow never hits anyway, so why try and get in its way? Just let him go with the sword attack with the lightning if you're going to lightning reversal anything. It's so easy to dodge the arrow that, like, there's no point. And that's it. That's Genichiro. Bullied to death. Easy. Ishin's adopted grandson. And he's dead forever. He's never going to get back up. He's finished. He won't show up again. You can trust me on that. Ishin dropping some knowledge on us. I wonder if that'll come in handy later. This dude with his dogs, you can just use ninja stars to get rid of the dogs. The only reason I'm showing this is because a lot of people don't seem to understand the spear. If you read the spear's item description, it says it can take ill-fitting armor off of opponents. Ill-fitting means doesn't fit well. The only people who wear armor in this game that doesn't fit well are these dudes. The persimmon-eating Kotaru soldier guys. Big fat baby men. Big fat baby men are my hero, by the way. These dudes, by the way, they respawn, but if you set them on fire, they won't respawn. They don't respawn, they just get back up. They reanimate. But if you hit them with fire, they don't reanimate. They're not really hard, so that's not super necessary. Here's Big Fat Baby Man. Big Fat Baby Man has, like, a quest. Big Fat Baby Man is fucking everything, okay? Big Fat Baby Man is the best character in this game, bar none, period. And if you do anything to hurt Big Fat Baby Man, I hate you. So, there's two different things you can do that will give Big Fat Baby Man a semi-happy ending. He wants us to find red and white flowers, but they're covered by these monks. These monks can also be bullied. Even if a monk parries you, you can just keep pressing R1, because they don't have any attack that stop you. Like, they parry you, just keep pressing R1. No big deal. Fine. It's easy. The monks that have the bow staff, when they parry you, get ready to counter parry, and then do a Makiri counter. Every time. Every time. Just press R1 until they parry you, then you parry them, then Makiri counter. Every time. And that's it. That's how you fight the monks. No big deal. When you get inside here, there's lumps of fat wax, which are good for upgrading your prosthetics, like the Mist Raven. And there's also a gourd seed. Also, I think the lore says that big fat baby men take a shit and make lump of fat wax. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like that dude was taking a dump, and that his dump was a lump of fat wax. That's disgusting. I don't know what to tell you, okay? Get this gourd seed. No one cares. They're cool. So here we start seeing the pinwheels, which represent all of the dead children. The red and white pinwheels are in remembrance of all the dead kids that they did experiments on in the rejuvenating waters. This dude will sell you persimmons, which you can use for one of the endings, side quest. However, if you go beat the monkeys, he'll give you these persimmons for free. He'll give you one free persimmon. If you beat the monkeys, talk to the Divine Child, and then come back. He's like, oh, you talked to the Divine Child? I wanted to see the Divine Child. I was going to give this persimmon, and he gives you the persimmon to give to her. Or you can just buy the persimmon, or you can buy the persimmon and come back and get that other persimmon. Look, there's no shortage of ways for you to get persimmons in this game, and the fact that you're watching YouTube videos trying to figure out where the hell to get a persimmon, just look around. Just look around. Just go exploring. It's fine. But that's, tied to one of the endings of the game. Now, the pinwheels, if we come up here and we look around, we'll find the red and white pinwheel. If you give this pinwheel to Big Fat Baby Man, he says, "Oh, you're a nice guy. You're trying to help me. I'll do anything you ask now." And you can send him to a terrible torturer in the dungeon, and if you do that, I hate you. Or you can look around a little bit more, and you can see that Frame Drop Mountain over here, there's a little more to it than meets the eye. Well, the frames don't meet the eye because your console doesn't have enough. It needs more frames. Anyway, look around. You'll find that you can, explore some more frame rate mountain, and after a while, you can discover the pure white pinwheel. And if you give him the pure white pinwheel, he'll ask for you to use the divine abduction prosthetic on him, and if you do, you get a happy ending from Kotaro. He goes to the monkeys. He basically just hangs out in Nirvana. But before we do that, we have a decision we need to make. We're going to come back here, and we're going to grab Sabimaru because that's kind of important. And we're also going to eavesdrop on some guards, some samurai dudes. And we overhear, as we're eavesdropping, that they need salt. They're looking for salt. And that information is important because we can take it back to the vendor, and he wants to know what the samurai need, and he can make money if he can get what they need. So he's going to try and get some salt. But before you do any of that, you have to eavesdrop on these guys, and they'll tell you that, hey, we need salt. We actually haven't spoken to this guy since we bought 2 units of information and accessed his manhole with lubricating oils. But he actually sells stuff now, including the Phantom Kunai, which we can use to, if you're trying to get all the trophies and stuff, you can do that. But here, if you talk to him again, he asks you, what are the samurai looking for? And you can answer, salt. They need salt. And this comes in handy because now, if you come back and talk to this guy again, Big Fat Baby Man can become his best friend. You can set up a play date between Vendor and Big Fat Baby Man. And if you do that, it's a sort of another kind of happy ending for Big Fat Baby Man. Kind of. Alright, let's fight Giant Dad. Giant Dad can just be dodged and hit. That's like, if you want to parry, that's cool. Go for it. But I mean, you can literally just dodge and then counter hit everything this guy does. The trick to this is obviously kicking him off the bridge. You'll notice this last deflect was not a perfect deflect. I didn't take damage, but he did break my guard. Deflecting this dude, obviously, if you miss, that hurts. So don't miss. The hardest part about this fight is learning which direction you need to get this guy to face in order to kick him off that ledge. But basically, my strategy is just stay close to the ledge, and he'll always stay close to the ledge because he's always there trying to hit you. And then it's Domo Arigato, Mr. See, that joke works because Styx had a song called it's called Mr. Roboto. It was Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Right? This is a game set in Japan, so if I say Domo Arigato, and then he says, Robert, you get it? I don't know if you get it or not, because you're here watching a video about how to make Sekiro beatable. We're going to come here and we're going to fight this dude. If you don't have Kuro's Charm, this fight can be a little, annoying. If you have Kuro's Charm, if you don't take chip damage, this is super easy. Jump at these guys and press R1. They can just instantly be deathblowed. You don't have to do anything. Just jump at them and press R1. They can have full health. They can be looking you dead in the eye. It doesn't matter. If you jump at them and press R1, they instantly get death blowed. This guy, really, really terrible eyesight, Mr. Giraffe, which I think was a translation error. His name was supposed to be Chimera, which would have made way more sense. Anyway, jump down here and kill him. There's one health bar. Then kill his buddy. And then get ready to fight this dude. And this is basically just press parry until it's time to stop, and then jump on his head. If he attacks you with his right hand, he's going to do a long sequence of attacks. If he attacks you with his left hand, he's going to do a short sequence of attacks. After a long sequence of attacks, he will always go for a sweep. If he does the short sequence of attacks, he'll go for a sweep in the middle of it. Even if you have Senpo kicks, I don't recommend using it against that guy's sweep attacks. Since they nerfed Senpo kicks, it's really difficult to time when to use it on that guy. If you break this dude's shield, he gives up. Did you know that? Well, now you do. And you know what Daddy did. Big fat baby man. Leave him alone. Don't hurt him. When you get to the temple, don't go into the temple first. Go through the temple. Explore around until you find this area. Use this to get the Senpo esoteric text. And now you can get Senpo kicks on your character. Pretty nifty. Senpo kicks is the Makiri counter of sweep attacks. And the next time you talk to me, you will be learning how to defeat monkeys. Monkey Lash, host of the nightmare.